Welcome, dear all, to twitch.tv/Wensleydale Cheddar. This is Stammer stream, and here's a rundown of what's happened in manga during those past few weeks we weren't there. Kirishima is the new Usopp, Chrome is hilarious and you will quote everything he says, Nami both literally and figuratively manipulates a cloud, Ray is an expert chef now because of course he bloody is, Nero the bird is the fifth most popular character in Black Clover for some reason. And Subaru has created a whole new copying technique, which is totally different from his old copying technique because it's faster.
I'm totally going to win him this battle. He's totally not being set up for the biggest fall imaginable.
I'm your stammering host, Wensleydale Cheddar, here alongside your non-stammering hosts, Caster UK and Hoven with an H. And we are again here with our favourite guest host and ODAR co-admin Grail9. So how are you gents doing this week?
Not bad, not bad.
Bit sick. Still coughing up the slide.
Way to bring it down.
That's me. Always there to make your day just a little bit more miserable.
Oh.
No, I've been very avidly catching up on Game of Thrones. I kind of put it down after season 4, and have just been catching up with the current season airing. So I'm almost done with that, and I've been frantically skimming through past implied spoilers on Twitter, and for the most part, I've been managing okay.
So you're catching up with Game of Thrones and starting on season 5. Oh dear.
Yeah, I started with season 5, and I'm on season 7 now, so I'm mostly through it.
Yeah. Possibly the first mainstream filler ending I've seen done in the West.
Yeah, it's the Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, and by the look of it, they're going to be doing a better job.
So, next week we're back to our usual format with our summary and analysis of our usual jump... that's 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now we'll be back with the summary and analysis of our usual jump titles. Next week is the Obon Festival, so we're going to be catching up on the events in our regular manga that we've missed. But today, we're going to be doing something different. So during one of the weeks where I was gone, not only... our only non-jump regular, Fairy Tail, has ended. And I think we have all got something to say about this one. So instead we're going to devote this entire episode to the 3 chapters we've missed as a kind of send-off to this giant mess of manga Hiro has created that still managed to embed ourselves in our memories.
It's going to be difficult to forget.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
For better or worse. I
Yeah.
can definitely say that I'm not going to forget Fairy Tail. Ironically, considering how much of it keeps slipping through my mind.
And speaking of memories, I guess it's only fitting to start with how we came about Fairy Tail, why did we keep reading it, and what our original thoughts were. So, we can start with Milo.
Okay, so allow me to tell you a story of a young 15-year-old Hoven. Hoven had just finished reading One Piece. He just caught up completely on it, and Hoven wanted more. He wanted more of that sort of thing. So then I found Fairy Tail, which everyone seemed to kind of pick up as quite a similar kind of series. And honestly, first getting into it, I really enjoyed it. I didn't really, because I was just kind of young, I didn't really put it under the microscope writing-wise. I just kind of consumed it, and yet, it moved at a very fast clip. It didn't feel like it dilly-dallied around like a lot of shonen battle series do at the start. And yeah, I did not mind how similar it was to One Piece because I wanted something similar to One Piece at the time. But yeah, it was only really when I think when I caught up with the anime that I kind of hit a turning point, because I caught up with the anime just when the first season ended, which was in the middle of the Grand Magic games. It was the big cliffhanger of who the hooded figure was. Like Jalal just finds out, she takes off the hood. It turns out later to be future Lucy, but though you don't see who it is, and there's a big to be continued mark. I think at that point in the manga they did like 2 like side chapters in the interim, but like this was like for months. Like I had no idea what was happening. There were loads of ongoing plot threads that I didn't know where they were going. So I think for the first time I'd actually had time to speculate about stuff and like get anticipated, which was ultimately the arc's downfall, because when I did actually catch up with the manga, I realized, oh, it's just the exact same thing we've come to expect. And I think I was especially like anticipatory of that part because it was an especially long arc with lots going on, and it was also the first arc after the 7-year time skip, so I assumed that like, okay, this 7-year time jump is going to be an opportunity to kind of level the playing field and make it so that Fairy Tail have to slowly work their way up again, which wasn't what happened.
Oh, you
and then
sweet
kind of,
summer child.
And then kind of slowly from there, I went from like genuinely enjoying to like kind of acknowledging this is stupid, but I can still kind of defend bits of it. It's got entertainment value, to eventually just like giving up and joining all the rest of you in your utter sort of refuting of it. All right, that's my story.
My history with Fairy Tail is, it's pretty much similar to what Hoven said, except I maybe didn't enjoy it as much at first. So there was this Pokemon forum I was once a part of, and it introduced me to the manga Pokemon Special, aka Pokemon Adventures. So when I read that all that was available to me at the time, I wanted to read other manga that people were reading then, partly to broaden my tastes, and partly to have something to talk about with other forum people. So I began with the big 3, and then moved to the 4th most popular thing, mainly to just be in the know. And I initially liked it, just by similar to Hoven, just by association with One Piece. Its art style and humor used to be similar at the beginning, but then, I grew out of my teenage years and started to appreciate better storytelling and humor, and recognize it as not perhaps a very good manga on my own accord, instead of just following the crowd. And I started losing interest just around the Aeolus arc, but followed the manga out of habit and kind of started to enjoy it in a so bad it's good kind of way. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, for my part, for me, this was around the time I was really getting into the scanlation sites and it was always there among top manga and always a hot new release. So eventually, my curiosity. What?
Hot new release with the amount of fan service in this series.
Slap yourself.
Slap yourself.
The worst part is, I laughed, so I probably deserve a slap too.
Okay, you slap yourself too. Now, where were we? Something about hot new releases. Slap yourself again.
Okay. Now wait a minute. I'll unpack those sound effects you gave me from for the editing of World Triggered, and each time we laugh at hot releases, then I'm gonna just play it in the background.
I know it'll make this podcast shorter and easier to do. Let's have a soundboard. Sorry, Kyle, go on.
So finally my curiosity just got the better of me, and I checked it out because I wanted a new manga, and that was apparently high rated at the time. So I just started reading, and I liked it first. It had some imaginative concepts. It had a few good surprises, characters I liked, even though they were kind of bog standard shonen. But I was still new to manga as a medium, and I kept reading. Though nowadays I can't remember much of my opinions since after somewhere between like the Phantom Lord arc and the Grand Magic Games arc, my memory is just blank. I can't remember if I possibly stopped at some point or only continued because I wanted to follow discussions or what. But I'm pretty sure that if my memory just thinks, okay, not gonna need any of that, then there must have been some point where I just read it out of habit or because I was bored or something. I mean, I can remember everything about One Piece, mostly in order, but Fairy Tail is just nothing. So, and recently I just kept reading out of morbid curiosity and mostly for the so bad it's good qualities. I mean, I could always rely on Fairy Tail to give me a good laugh.
Yeah.
Even if it
I think we all
necessarily
can.
need to do that. I mean, I was the one who said that for Urza beats all three of our former opponents' memories in the memory form. I said that was the greatest comic chapter I had ever read because
Oh,
I
God,
was supposed to take that shit seriously.
What, you mean when she was a lolly?
Okay.
No,
No. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, it was when that one guy did the Historia Magical. She fought Kyoka and some two other dudes. I can't remember who the hell they were.
Oh.
And just by saying, I won't give up, surrender! They were so intimidated they stopped existing.
Oh wait, this was in the last arc, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
about.
that whole business with
thinking
Nine
about the
Hearts,
one
yeah.
from the- Yeah, I was thinking about the one from the Sun Village.
And that's not even mentioning the whole way she beat her main antagonist in the Tartarus arc because she's Urza.
She
Yeah,
much
that
lamer,
one was-
basically a
that
much
didn't make
lamer.
me laugh. That made me scream and break
That
a
was
few things.
It was like a much lamer version of the One Punch Man punching the meteor.
Because it wasn't meant to be the joke.
Or just the more bullshit version of Zoro standing after taking the worst beating of his life from Bartholomew Kuma and saying, nothing happened. But just like 12-year-old thinking, I'll make this even cooler! He then beats the bad guy!
He beats the bad guy and has no long-running consequences where his injuries are the things that get the Straw Hats caught by Kuma in it.
Yeah,
In the suburb of the archipelago.
Yeah, it's a running joke that One Piece bandages are the most important item in its universe. But
They're more valuable than sea stone cuffs.
yeah, but then we have Urza, who in her last fight with against Irene, had supposedly all her bones crushed again, except her little finger, and then launched herself into the air, and then suddenly, apparently, her bones regrown.
Yeah,
No,
she
launch
had
herself
one
into the air.
arm, so she used the Kamehameha wave to launch
Yes!
herself at Piccolo. No, I mean, she used magic to launch herself at Piccolo. I mean, Irene.
It was a dumb thing that the hero didn't even think up himself.
Yeah, it's like he took that element from Dragon Ball, that element from One Punch Man, and that element from One Piece, and just made them all lamer, as he's one to do.
Yeah, I've always thought Fairy Tail is giant One Piece. Like, take One Piece, now take out everything that was cool about One Piece and add more boobs.
Yeah.
Speaking of comparisons to One Piece, I've heard an opinion that I found quite I resonated with quite a lot, in that Natsu very clearly emulates Luffy and Goku and as a protagonist, and he's very immature. He likes to eat a lot. He's very reckless and just runs into things. But the way each series treats that recklessness, kind of speaks to how much the mangaka has thought about their personality and how it would drive the story.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
with Goku and Luffy, they're the way that they are reckless and impulsive always drives the plot. It's always kind of the thing that spearheads things along. And it's in many cases, particularly with Luffy, it's also shown to be kind of a flaw. It gets them into trouble a lot.
Yeah.
With Natsu, it's just a surface element. Nothing about the setting or like the story really benefits from him having that kind of personality. Like that, he never really goes on any leads to look for Igneel. There's like he has rivalries with the other guildmates, which get totally dropped. Like as the series goes on.
In inverted
but, like,
commas, rivalry.
But like he never like it's like if he wants to beat Laxus and Urza, but like he never really tries that hard. Like he has a couple of like not that important matches with them.
Milo.
It's like
Milo,
Yes?
you just don't understand his character. He doesn't really want to be king.
Yeah, Natsu's not great. Like Natsu, as members of a writing forum, we can all understand that Natsu is quite a good example of giving your character a flaw in inverted commas. But if that flaw never comes up in the story, it's
like
not
he rushes
a
into
flaw.
he rushes into combat and into fights all the time, but it's never like
It's never a
mistake.
downside. It's always
And like one arc even like potentially offers it to be that, in Tenro when he fights Guildarts and Guildarts tells him, hey, it's okay to be scared of stuff sometimes. Learns absolutely nothing from the rest of the arc.
because
He, like...
doesn't that arc end with Makarov telling them to run and the next shot is him fighting Aknology?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Right.
Oh,
sorry,
God,
I didn't
Makarov.
get to say how I got into Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
So, I got into Fairy Tail during the bit of my teenage years where I essentially went on my anime binge, where I suddenly found I could watch all these things, and just went through series after series and trying out. And I found a load of great stuff. I found a load of terrible stuff. Fairy Tail was not the bottom of what I found. But
Guilty Crown?
I was going to mention it by name because yes, it was. No, I'm not going to get on that rant. But
Let's do a Guilty Crown podcast.
we do. I need
Just
to
you
watch
and
that
me.
this summer. We should. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
You know what? I've got to watch it someday.
I essentially got onto Fairy Tail because I heard it was good and thought it's fantasy. It's got magic. It's got cool powers. Oh, this sounds like it should be worth a watch. I'll check it out. And it was okay. I think I watched about 50 episodes before it just lost me.
I remember you telling me you got up to the Tower of Heaven arc, which is about 40 episodes in.
I actually got through Tower of Heaven into the Fighting Festival, and it was during that I realised that I don't really want to watch this anymore. But the thing I found was that I was always waiting for Fairy Tail to live up to its potential, to get good. Like, the early arcs were interesting, but when people talk about even the arc with the demons that didn't know they were demons, I thought was a bit flat. Like, the two arcs I remember that were good were the arcs where they went into characters' backstories and development, which were the Grey going up against
Leon.
Leon and the demon that killed his teacher, and the Phantom Lord arc, where they actually tapped into Lucy's past, which was a mystery up to that point, and tested her new connection to the guild, and that was awesome. At the end of Phantom Lord, I was really looking forward to where the series was building, because I was thinking, this is great. It feels like I'm in the tuning exam arc in Naruto. The world's expanded, we've got new characters, we can keep on building from here. And then the Tower of Heaven happened. And we got introduced to Urza's bullshit for pretty much the first time. And it was the first time at the end I was watching the final fight and was like, wait, Natsu just punched this guy who's been built up for the entire fight with fire. And that's it? Wait, what? Oh, is he coming back? No? Oh, we're leaving. Oh, and they're all friends now. Didn't one of them die? And then the Fighting Festival happened, and I just know. But then I got back into reading the manga later, and out of morbid curiosity, and because I kind of wanted to see how cool the dragons looked.
Yeah.
That was me.
Remember in the Town of Heaven arc when all the sub-villains that were introduced at that point were suddenly turned into good guys because Hero couldn't stand the thought of them being defeated and being made villains with the tragic backstory, and just introducing three more throwaway villains just before the arc ended.
I remember, like, one of them was an owl guy.
I remember the naked owl guy with cowboy boots.
Yeah.
One of them she was called Ikaruga. She had like a robe, and Urza fought her.
One was the metalhead that corrupted
Juvia. Fought
Juvia.
Juvia and Lucy.
Yeah.
Oh no, that is one thing I've noticed. Like, a recurring trend on all of his villain themes, or almost all of them. Like, he always includes, like, an older woman character, usually for Urza to fight. Like, and they're all quite interchangeable. So you had Ikaruga, you had Evergreen in the fighting festival, you had, Altia Greyfort, to be fair, so that's a little different. But then you had Kyoka in the Tartarus.
Yeah.
It just seems to be a recurring, and then...
Though you had the plant guy
whatever she
in Hades' group. Hades group.
Yeah, I actually quite enjoyed that fight. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, very generic power of friendship, but it worked.
on that could almost be the subtitle for the species for the series.
Yeah.
Power of friendship. It worked.
Yeah, and that was also probably the arc that made Makarov into the bitch that he is. I remember the first time Makarov used Fairy Law. He got
that was
giant.
awesome.
He wasn't just menacing and just counted like, okay, you got 5 seconds to run. After that, I'm gonna fucking end you.
Because he launched that.
Going like, no, I'm victorious. You're not gonna beat me. I'm the greatest. That one. Fairy Law.
Though it also introduced a giant plot hole in Fairy Tail of why don't you ever use it again? Because Phantom Lord had its counterspell, Phantom Law, but I don't think any of the villain groups after that point did.
Didn't Hades have one? Grimoire Law, or?
Did he? All right.
I think he did. I think that's how he took it.
Would have made
the
sense.
one who had a counter spell.
Oh, all right.
Phantom Lord was the one he used it against.
Oh,
first.
yeah.
And it worked.
But in last arc, we did get an answer that had never been alluded to before. Because if you use it on too many people, let's say his life drains. Yeah, that's why he never used it before.
Yeah, that would have been a really interesting point to bring up. That at any point they have this nuclear option they're sitting on, but it will slowly kill Makarov, which would have been an interesting development. But no.
Also,
I mean,
also what would have been? Sorry.
Later on, no one would have thought that was a bad thing. Since no one can die in Fairy Tail.
So also what would be an interesting development is Makarov dying before the first time skip.
Look, an interesting development would be Makarov dying and staying dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An interesting development would be anyone dying and staying dead. Yeah.
Except like Simon, I think. Was that the guy's name? The one guy that did die and then was pretty much forgotten.
Nobody cared because Hero didn't want to address it.
Simon. It's also a running joke in One Piece that nobody dies in One Piece except in flashbacks. Its version in Fairy Tail is everyone dies in Fairy Tail, but then comes back.
Oh my god! I just remember. Okay, you know how there was that Sheria girl. That Wendy was hanging out with.
Yeah.
She was originally like introduced as the younger sister of that like.
Sherry. Yeah.
Yeah, of Sherry. And what the hell happened to Sherry?
She got married.
I think she joined
Blue
and
left the guild.
She joined Leon's guild.
No. She was in Leon's guild and then joined Blue Pegasus.
Did she join Blue Pegasus?
Yeah,
What?
but because she married the darker skinned guy out
Oh,
of Ichi's
him,
group.
yeah.
I forget his name. Ren, I think
Like-
it was Ren.
Okay.
She,
Right. Yeah.
she got Toriyama, where she got married and then never did anything cool again.
Mhm.
Though to be fair, neither did Ren.
Yeah.
Is that called Toriyama? I mean, she's only 1 out of 2 with that.
Well,
Okay, maybe 2 out of.
well, all Toriyama's cool female characters all end up having a baby and stop doing cool stuff.
Yeah. Like even Android 18, who I did like. Okay, to be fair, I've only seen up to like. This is coming from someone who's not watched much of Super. I'm just talking of like original series Z and like the 2 movies they did since then. But like, she did just kind of become like a house mum eventually.
Yeah. So did Fidel. So did Chi-Chi's.
I've heard
and,
like in
and
the
Launch
new
just
arc of Super-
disappeared.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard in the
Toriyama
new arc,
literally forgot she existed.
at
He
at
just
least
left
Bulma-
with
at least-
Tien and was never seen again. But
At
seriously,
least Bulma stayed cool.
yeah, that's what I was referring to. Like, Bulma was the one that escaped that fate.
All right then. But let's not talk about Dragon Ball. And maybe
Yeah, we have plenty sexism in Fairy Tale.
maybe shall we move on to the recap of the 3 chapters?
Yeah, let's
All right.
do that.
All right, so let's start with Fairy Tale, chapter 543, Hearts Connected. So now, before we discuss the chapter itself, we see the Avatar arc depicted in the cover, and with the next
Joy of joys.
with the next chapter's cover being a blank page and the final one, well, being just a cluster of fairy tale characters, we finish the arc-themed cover with the Avatar arc. The arc that everybody liked.
How many arcs did we skip?
Eh?
How many arc covers did we skip? This can't have been all the arcs in Fairy Tale.
I don't think we did, but no, I think
Keep going. I'll go back and check.
okay. The arc that everybody liked, what with the avatars supposedly being so different from mages and yet being exactly the same, the tummy ache girl being one of the primary antagonists, and with Evil Grey built up to kill Frosh, but then deciding not to for some reason. I mean, this is the penultimate arc, and it makes sense not to include Alvara's Empire Saga, but come on, the Avatar arc.
But hey, come on, Cheddar. They still had one thing. Didn't they have one of the 12 battle gods? The insanely
Which we never
powerful-
heard from again.
No, listen to me. I mean,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on. That thing was built up so powerful that if they summoned it, it would be game over. But then it just forced everyone to be at their best, to unite. Like Straw Hats against Or's zombie, and no, wait, Natsu just beat him
Yeah,
single-handedly.
he got half a chapter to build up, and then it got punched.
Wait, what about all the other 11 gods? Did we ever hear from them?
Nope.
I bet
That
Natsu
was the
beat them up
only
too.
one.
Like off panel, just like, we better go beat those up too so no one summons them.
Oh god. So
Spriggan 12 probably bought them, and then they all got beaten off panel as well.
yeah. So Acnologa's body seems to be more intelligent without his mind in control, because it finally uses a breath attack to destroy all the ships at Hargian port. Grey actually manages to make another clever decision. He and Leon are going to be making a ship with the ice make magic, with Juvia presumably manipulating water to make it easier for them. Urza and Mirajane decide to tank Acnologia, while Kana says everyone should hold hands to cast Fairy Sphere the moment Lucy arrives to cast the spell. So, this is the part of the chapter I actually like, because it's kind of promising. It's all the mages that are present being a little tactical. Each of them kind of having part to play in the grand plan. So then we see Happy carrying Lucy's boobs and the rest of her body in the order of what Hiro chooses to put emphasis on. Back to Hardian. Strangely enough, Fried is carried by Panther Lily and Levi is carried by Charl, which I feel like it should be the other way around, given that Lily knows Levi better, but... Lucy and Happy recall the first adventure, even though some panels from the first chapters don't fit the frames and create some awkward black spots in between. Back in the spirit world, Acnologia's human form has already defeated all the inconsequential Dragon Slayers, making the finale another uber original scenario where Natsu has to punch the bad guy in the face to win.
But first, you have to Dragon Splain.
But how's he going to do this, guys? Acnologia can eat all magic. He can eat fire magic, and lightning magic, and wind magic, and light magic, and dark magic, and poison magic, and steel magic. Like, what are they going to do to beat this impossible odds?
Well, if you combine them all together, then this is the magic that apparently Acnologia can't devour.
No, I got a better idea. How about we instead use them as combinations, try to overwhelm it, or come from different directions so he can't, like, eat at all of them at once, do simultaneous attacks.
Yeah, don't aim it at his face, because then he can eat it. Aim it maybe at somewhere else. But okay, but we're getting a little ahead.
We're getting logical.
Yeah. So then, Acnologia says he can't afford to leave a single dragon alive, and that it's his purpose as a dragon slayer to kill dragons. And then Natsu says something really clever, guys. Really clever. I mean, just listen to it. He says that Acnologia is a dragon too. No. Stop it, guys. You don't get it. Let me explain this to you. As long as Acnologia is still alive, then there will be a single dragon alive. So to fully realize his objective, Acnologia would have to kill himself. Don't you see how bloody clever this is? It's so bloody clever that Acnologia can answer with only silence. And look at his facial expression. It's like this thought had never occurred to him before. Great job, Natsu, for being so clever.
More like Acnobogia. I don't even...
This is meant to be, like, this is the final chapters of a series. And this is a twist I'd expect from a 5-year-old's first attempt at narrative. You're a dragon too! Oh no! I must die!
I just imagine a hero patting himself on the back. It's kind of like Trump calling world leaders and asking them how many people they have in the country. It's just okay. Is this really that giant twist that was supposed to blow our minds?
No! There's a bigger twist coming up.
Yeah, but it
Dragon-splaining.
Yeah, it doesn't end there. Then Natsu says Acnologia's not a real dragon, because real dragons are strong, noble, and kind. But Acnologia says no, because dragons killed his family, even the children. And it's a whole tragic backstory, which we see in 2 panels.
Yeah, okay, guys. Acnologia was a good guy all along and feel bad for him. Also, Natsu then goes to instantly contradict the last thing he said.
2 panels! 2 panels, we don't...
He doesn't contradict. He just pulls a true Scotsman argument. Like, oh, yeah, those are true dragons, the evil ones. They're just, I don't know, they're some fakers.
Oh, okay, let's keep going, because we can all agree this speech is utter shit. So let's keep going.
Bollocks.
Yeah. So these are 2 panels we don't even address again, because when Acnologia says dragons are cruel, Natsu responds with another incredibly deep message. He says, dragons come in different types, just like humans. You see, there are good dragons and bad dragons, just like human beings. Oh, guys, the subtlety of this writing is too much for me. I don't think I can last much longer.
Well, it's not right, because in Fairy Tail there are no bad guys. They're all good people who all deserve good endings because they've just made mistakes in life.
No, there are evil people that they just like explode or something.
Yeah, and you
then
you
come
never
back
hear
as
from
good
them again.
people.
Yeah.
Come on, let's keep going. Yeah.
So then, Wendy enchants the power of all dragon slayers into Nartz's fist. Because that's an option now, I suppose. And he uses the power of 7 dragon flames to punch Acnologia's spirit form. But I guess that's not that serious, right? I mean, after all, Acnologia can easily devour all magic like he usually does, right? Right? Right?
No, because
Well, we
plot
cut away
device.
first. I mean, we still have things to do.
Yeah. So anyway, when the ship is ready, Lucy starts chanting the spell as she's changed into a bikini in between panels. Yeah, not to worry.
Well,
After all, we've
That
got
is literally
plenty of
her
time.
magic at the moment.
God, I didn't even notice
I mean,
that. Banter is just
because I
become so
actually
naturally.
remember insignificant details from the series, I will just point out that is the same outfit that she got in Tartarus when she summoned the Celestial Spirit King.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it kind of, like, yeah, it is an excuse to get into a bikini, but it is, like, her strongest outfit or something, even
Yeah.
though outfits never really mattered for her, because she's not
Yeah,
Urza,
Jim.
but whatever.
I'll get onto my game of Do You Remember When later.
So, speaking of Urza, Urza uses her Rain of Blades to get Acnologia onto the ice ship. Everyone
And gets naked for no reason.
Yes. Well, she gets naked every time she changes an armor. So yeah, I just get used to that. Everyone holds hands in a circle as Lucy activates a spell in an upskirt shot.
No. Everyone stands still in a circle. All the men look like they're in horrific agony. All the women look like they're climaxing.
And yeah, that's how everyone's feelings, including the climaxing, reach Natsu. So you guys want to share your thoughts on the chapter? Because I'm kind of out of breath and I need a break.
Are we going each
I have
one?
a very simplified
Just
piece
like
that
comments, I
probably
think.
still gets through every thought of I have on this chapter. Fuck! Yeah! Oh! I think that got the point across.
Oh dear.
Yeah. This wasn't. This. I think we addressed everything in this chapter. It's.
Yeah, I think we've covered it.
Yeah. It's not great. It's fairy tale.
It's a very fairy tale chapter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as are all 3 of these.
Apart from the terrible attempt at dramatic speech writing,
Yeah.
it's mostly harmless. Like the entire thing about I heard people complaining about how how can Gray make a boat with ice? It'll sink. It's like, do you not know how ice works? But the
Icebergs are a thing.
yeah, but most of it is essentially just okay. This is something went bad last chapter. Oh look, we instantly have a way to fix everything. Oh wait, it's fairy tale. Why was I questioning this?
And even the most destructive force of the evil is still just like, my family was killed, feel bad, I was righteous all along.
Oh yeah. Also, Acnologia being a tragic villain is utter bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah. I'm gonna get into that.
I mean,
a
I'll
bit- a
give them
bit later.
credit. Sort of spoilers. I'll give them sort of a modicum of credit. He doesn't have Acnologia survive and be a complete good guy at the end, but you know,
That we know.
still bullshit.
That we know. Wait until this next season where Acnologia disappears like every time Jalal does.
Oh, if he does one, sure.
I mean, I know I shouldn't be so angry at this chapter because it's usual fairy tale bullshit. Maybe the vitriol is kind of it's kind of because it's the last chapter. So I feel like it's my last chance to be kind of raging at fairy tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, sure. I don't know why that it's Acnologia's face that infuriated me most. So speaking of which, Fairy Tale, chapter 544. You're the king.
Why don't I take this one?
Yep, go ahead.
Grail, I can barely hear you.
Yeah, I think you might have shorted out your microphone with yelling about Fairy Tale.
He said, can I take this one?
Okay, so once we can hear you, then fine.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
better.
maybe I just... Alright, I just accidentally shifted my mic position. So, we start with the title page that I'm pretty sure Hiro just threw together after he realized, shit, it's 5 minutes deadline, I haven't done title page. Right, Fairy Tale, You're the King, Hiro Mashima, the art. Okay, maybe it's just better this way. I'll say it's Art Deco or something.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of what I imagined a storyboard a storyboard page would look like. So yeah, it's fine for me.
The simplicity worked.
Yeah.
It was possibly the only thing in this chapter that worked. But it...
Well, we start off with Natsu yelling, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" as he started.
With a look in Ecologia's face, he's been doing that for the past 5 minutes and just not moving.
Yeah, even though it shows him charging in the bottom panel, but anyway, Acknowledge's on the boat, and that seems to get him to Barry's spear. And they think, okay, we did it, but Acknowledge shows, no, I'm still the motherfucking Dragon of Apocalypse. I'm gonna break this fucking spear, and starts charging at the sides. But then they are despairing, like, oh, this isn't enough. Yeah, we're not gonna do it. But some character I do not recognize has some mark on Lucy that apparently connects her to everyone on the continent.
Yeah, it's Meredy. It's Altia's apprentice.
I have a slight problem with this.
What the hell's
because
Altia?
There's a shot between...
Altia.
Yeah, there's a shot where she's shown directly next to Juvia, and they look like exactly the same character.
Yeah, there's just so many characters I can't remember.
Which is funny because they fought once.
I know.
Yeah, and has Meredy been in anything before in this arc?
I mean, it's
Yeah, twice I think.
I mean, it's even bullshit that she's this powerful right now because.
Oh, let's not complain about that. We'll be here forever.
It's a lot more bullshit to get through. So with the magic of everyone on the continent, they power off Fairy Spear so that suddenly Acknowledge can't move. I'm not quite sure how that works, but whatever.
I think they're doing the Spirit Bomb. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, and now everyone's just yelling, "Ah! Ah!" across the continent. Somehow we get to see the Endless cats too. Like, how? Aren't they in a different dimension? Or did they somehow got that whatever this world's called too? Or how did that happen?
I'm just not asking questions.
This world's called Earthland. I just remembered that.
Oh yeah, the Exceeds flew down to Earthland from Edalus.
Okay.
I remember at the end of the arc.
In that case, we just see a bunch of people yelling and giving it all their magic. So now Fairy Spear is even more powerful and completely paralyzed Acknowledgia. So even his physical body, for some reason, just freezes up, cannot move. So Natsu goes in and punches him. The end.
So I have a bunch of things to say. So first of all, can you see the panel when Lucy drops to the ground, just kind of saying that oh no, our magic power wasn't enough. So
the pattern on her underwear?
Yeah, it's the equivalent of the buying flowers scene from The Room, because it's such a small thing, but it infuriates me so much. It's the most tonally bizarre panel possible. Look at that. Her line is a dramatic one, as she's apparently in shock that her magic power wasn't enough. But then she has the most fanservice-y pose in this chapter as her tits flap upwards to show us a rather big amount of underboob. Her skirt also flies up to give us another panty shot, in which, by the way, her panties aren't the same as the last chapter, so great continuity, hero. I assume she's...
Her face just looked like, oh damn it, I lost my $5 I was saving for a cornetto.
I assume she's changed again in between panels. And finally, you have
need to check something.
You have
keep going.
You have her facial expression, which looks more like comedic boredom than a serious line. It's like a fairy tale were live action, and you couldn't manage to have Lucy's actor be invested, so she just says, "Oh no, our magic power wasn't enough. Oh my god."
Or just like, oh god damn it, I lost that $5 I was saving for ice cream on the way home. Now I'm gonna have to go back home and just get it tomorrow or something.
Question. That outfit obviously has no pockets. Where's she keeping her keys?
You know where she's keeping her keys.
Yeah, it's probably... Yes, okay.
Oh god, yeah, I just opened the chapter to look at that panel, and yeah, god, it looks so derpy.
It's the amount of effort that's been put into the fan service compared to the rest of the scene, considering it's meant to be dramatic.
It's so weird. And okay, later. Speaking of continuity, later we see that Natsu is. So remember how at the end of the last chapter, Acnologia and Natsu were charging at each other with the final attacks. Well, apparently they've stopped for some reason, and they're just standing there. And
that is weird, because we start this chapter with them charging, then we cut away, and then they're standing there again.
Yeah! And suddenly, Natsu is all depressed and says he can't end this, not on his own. And what? How is this even... You have the power of 7 dragons that came from your friends, that are lying right behind you. You can't say you're alone in this fight. After doing that seven powers combined into one thing, you don't have the right to have this lone warrior moment.
It is weird, because it does seem like Hero had a better idea between the weeks and said, I'm going to do this now. Because the idea he comes up with isn't bad. Because they have Acnologia only... It's implied, and I use the biggest quotation marks around this possible, that Natsu's only able to hit Acnologia because everyone outside is holding his physical body. And Acnologia is only able to defend himself because in Ignal's dying move, he ripped off his arm. And that's the only way Natsu is able to punch and beat him.
Mm.
The problem is none of those aspects were brought up before this moment, even in this fight.
In fact, that is in general the most disappointing aspect of god damn it. Hold on a second. Yep. Sorry.
So
no problem. So yeah, it's a good idea that doesn't stand up because it's not been built up, and it's just suddenly comes out of nowhere, and and as you say, doesn't fit what's been set up. Also, this movie looks a lot like Year 3, but I'm not going to complain about that.
So, speaking of things that have not been set up, I want to talk a little about Acnologia's internal monologue. So,
oh god, yeah.
So, I want more blood, more destruction, more tears. I will destroy all. I will grasp everything in my hands. I will have everything. There is so much to unpack there. Everything here is a misstep. So, firstly, stellar motivation, dude. This is so deep. I can see why this is everyone's favorite fairy tale.
We get it.
Then you
Sorry,
know.
I had to cut off there because I had an interruption.
No problem.
No problem. You know, if you don't have anything interesting to say, why do you say anything at all? That doesn't refer to you, Hoven. That refers to Acnologia. Acnologia was most interesting as a force of destruction. Giving him internal monologues as well as a pathetic attempt at a tragic backstory just undercuts his former intimidating presence. It's like when I learned there are neo-Nazi bronies in Poland. These things kind of thematically don't fit together. And another thing,
Yeah.
was Acnologia being greedy even a thing at all? Was it built up anywhere in the arc, or is it just Hero reading The Hobbit and then so I see this is how dragons should be. Milo, is it just me being ignorant, or what was that build up anywhere?
I don't think it was. The point I was trying to make earlier
go
was
on.
the most disappointing thing about this fight to me is that the whole Natsu's whole motivation was, I'm gonna get revenge on Igneal dying, like his big crying moment at the end of Tartarus. You know, I'm gonna get you back for this, and that was never once touched on from Natsu's point of view in this fight at all. Like,
I had completely forgotten that. Yeah.
Me too.
like, sure, there is that small moment of like Igneal's attack being the deciding blow, and that's good. I wouldn't remove that. That's probably one of the best things about this final moment. But the fact that Natsu never once said at any point, instead of that huge bullshit monologue, he could have brought up, you killed my dad, you know?
Yeah, dragons aren't like that. I knew a dragon who was great and amazing, and my dad, and you killed him.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that up until this point, I don't think Acnologia's missed that arm at all. Which also annoyed me.
Mm.
But yeah, I think the main problem is that I can kind of get it in concept, because if you're writing a force of nature, when you're trying to do the climax, and you've finally got to give... It's hard to write an antagonist that doesn't have a personality. It's really hard. And I think Hero tried to give him a personality, but fucked up because he gave him 3 different ones, none of which fitted.
Mm.
He's part this tragic monster, part this thing that just wants to destroy everything around him, and part this weird thing we then get to where he's just like, oh, I wanted a final fight with somebody worthy enough to defeat me, that also came out of fucking nowhere.
And also I want everything.
He suddenly Boros now from One Punch Man.
He's suddenly a lot of shit, because I don't think Hero knew what he was doing, could be said about a lot of this series. But yeah, it doesn't work, and you can dissect it a lot, but my problem is that the actual finishing blow, if you don't think about it, is kind of fun.
Yeah, I like it. Summons a big giant fuck off fist, looks cool.
Yeah, and how every character is
more than I could say for his final strike on Zereth, which is just
I will get to
punchy
that.
with fire.
Yeah.
But yeah,
in theory, it should be a really cool finale. But in practice, I'm just thinking all these little niggles around it that make me think, is this really all it is?
Yeah, I can't separate it either.
Well, the thing that's what I've been struggling with the last week, because this was a finale where the entire world we've been introduced to so far was used to defeat the final opponent, and it got worked up in reason. Separate. If you look at it in concept, it got built up in stages. With just the small group of us were able to fight him off originally, and then he got put into the ravines of time. Oh no, he's a bigger threat, so more people had to bind together. Oh no, fairy sphere can't contain him this time. Hearts of the world unite, essentially. And we had an interesting thing where all of Fairy Tail was doing different stuff to catch his body. And so technically this should be a really good conclusion. But it doesn't deliver because it wasn't thought out enough. Or at least that's my conclusion on it.
Yeah, just the... I think the dialogue writing is the biggest sin here. Every single word that these characters say just kind of makes me cringe.
Mm. Also, can we take a moment to have a look at the city Hero draws on the page, which is a load of boxes. I was just skimming through. It's like, hang on, really? All your broken ships are a couple of dashes in the sea, and I can see maybe 4 different buildings in this picture. Oh yeah,
Maybe
also
that's how.
Also, then all the dragon slayers fall out of the sky, and Natsu lands on Lucy's tits.
Oh.
Which I think.
To be
is the
fair,
end of
no,
this
it's
chapter.
not. It's not. No, he doesn't land on her. He just lands on her, like face first, like face into her face.
That is true. Credit to Hero for not having her land Natsu land directly in her tits.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Happy was covering them, so yeah.
Yeah, like at the time, I was really like thinking about it falling. Like, yeah, gonna fall into Lucy's tits. Like that's the kind of mindset my mind puts on this series. Like, yep, that's gonna happen. I'm just expecting the worst.
Yeah. Right. Do we have anything else on this chapter, or shall we move on to the final one?
Yes.
I think we should move on.
Yes, we have. Although I don't know what I can say about this apart from, okay, Natsu, you are worthy of the title of a king. King of what? I don't know. No thanks. I'm just fine having my friends and being me.
Oh, that was utter horseshit of the highest caliber. That was 13-year-olds right.
It was just confirming. Yeah, you have no goals or aspirations as a character, really.
Yeah. You have not grown. You have not progressed. You have gained nothing from these 544 chapters.
Yeah, and it's even kind of dead and buried in the next chapter, which spoilers ends with let's go on another mission and progress nothing in our relationship.
Oh no, it was the fact that it was a nameless mission. I'll get to it when we get to it, but the last page made me furious.
Okay, so shall I summarize the last chapter?
Sure.
Yep,
Yeah.
you can have this one. My voice is still kind of sore from that yelling.
Yeah. So
You should not do that when you're just coming down from a cold.
Oh. So in the final chapter, we get the third time skip in Fairy Tale. As we move forward a year to Lucy being given the Pulitzer Award for her new novel, Iris's Adventure, which I assume is the story of how Youngblood Iris joins the Blue Wolves.
I think my favourite thing is that it's implied that it's essentially just 544 chapters of Fairy Tale.
Yeah.
Implying that he was just like, yeah, my work's worth a major award.
Oh God! It's the but you're a dragon too. God! I can just imagine the hero patting himself on the back. So after the cover page, we see Lucy being praised for writing a self-insert story, and everyone is flabbergasted at the rowdy behavior of her guild members. And thankfully, it's not as bad as in Black Clover. So then we get a recap of what's up with pretty much every non-background character. Starting with the most important one of all, Anna, who gets a whole page dedicated to her being a teacher. I would ask if this fits her character, but then again, I'm not really sure what her character is anyway. So then we enter the shipping territory. And you know how one praise that was always given to Fairy Tale is that there was actual progression with romantic relationships, and that hero...
Was it?
Yeah, it
unintentionally, maybe. But...
Yeah. There actually kind of was with Grey and Juvia getting closer and closer, with Urza and Jalal even kissing, but yeah, and that hero actually committed to pairings. Well, here's where we throw it all out of the window and have a lot of unconfirmed suggestions and gossip.
Some of these were
Could be any
bullshit.
other way in a shonen ending.
Some
Yeah.
of these were bullshit, but I thought a lot of these were a lot better than your standard shonen ending.
Okay, that's an interest. I haven't heard anyone view that viewpoint, so that's interesting.
No,
Well, if you compare it to, if you compare the character development we've seen in Fairy Tail to stuff like into character development in stuff like One Piece and Naruto and Bleach, both One Piece doesn't do it, and Naruto and Bleach essentially gave a final chapter and said they're together now. And the question,
Oh,
the
yeah,
question
no,
of
I'll
why
say this,
is
No, the Harry Potter ending. I'm glad they didn't go with that at the very least, because this isn't a series where it would have really fit.
yeah.
Similar to Bleach. Bleach never had there was never really any indication that it needed to have an ending where we see Ichigo and Orihime's kid.
yeah.
Or the
But,
fact that Ichigo and Orihime got together, because that plotline got dropped.
Yeah, like and like, I'm not gonna say this isn't an underwhelming final chapter, because it is. Something more conclusive on all of the relationships would have been made better. However, it was a fitting. It was a fairy tale chapter. It was authentic to the series. The series has always been about ship teasing and being super non-committal about it, and that's what this chapter was.
And for being non-committal about it,
Yeah. Honestly, the one page I genuinely like. I really like the whole.
Was it the Laxus one? Because
where they just kind of playfully just like, oh, it could be this one, it could be that. I'm like, yeah, no, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You never like
He's a
built
playboy
up anything
now.
of it, and that has been a recurring. I'm okay with that as like an overall nod to the nature of how Mashima teases ships throughout the whole series.
Yeah, because all of these, they don't confirm anything, but they progress the relationships that have been building through the series. Levi and Gajil are having a kid now.
Yeah.
Which is...
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, this is one of the things that is more certain than all the others here, and
to like bring this, I think this is like I think there is like a spin-off novel or something. Yeah, we're in Black Clover territory, but not really, because it's not like an essential thing. But there is a spin-off novel where they meet their kid from the future, but they don't know it's their kid or something.
That's not too bad.
Okay.
The joke I love in this chapter is that Hero does the joke where I quite like that he implies a lot of stuff in this and doesn't have to outright say it while it's still being there.
Yeah.
But the fact that Wendy's got really good hearing means she hears absolutely everything.
Shall I go through things bit by bit?
Yeah.
So yeah.
We then get Wendy's page, I guess.
Yeah. So Wendy continues her creepy idol gig with Sharia. And the latter is also confirmed to have regained a bit of her former magic abilities, which I'm perfectly fine with.
Yeah, this was the least bullshit. There are no consequences to this, because she actually had consequences for
yeah.
I mean, going from being so-called God Slayer into I can make a little tornado between my hands that could maybe blow over a few leaves.
Yeah. And also I forgot that moment, but I like that that little exchange of panels that Charles and Sharia had while casting Fairy Sphere. Just
including her.
Yeah,
nice.
just including her in the circle. So Sabertooth apparently had an eating contest.
None of the other guilds are doing anything.
Ichiya's being Ichiya, as he always is. Mermaid Heel are models for some reason. Kagura...
What the fuck is with this?
Even she's like, what in the world am I doing?
Because like,
I
remember...
you just threw her on there, and she's just as confused as like, wait, why am I here in this position? Can you get me out of here? Like,
okay, to go a bit more like, because like the whole thing was that Kagura was introduced as a sort of hard-ass warrior, Bushido, takes no nonsense, and then like after the tournament arc, she becomes more of a tsundere and like, oh, we're gonna put her in like a ball dress. She's so shy, kind of thing. And that's kind of how the fan service is played up, is like, oh, she's such a no-nonsense warrior type, you wouldn't expect her to be so feminine, but, like, because the no-nonsense warrior stuff has been dropped, it's, like, it doesn't, like, it doesn't really hit. It doesn't, like, there is no sense of that.
It's like she's emulating everyone reading this and asking what the hell she's doing.
I'm just more annoyed that this entire guild, a guild of capable fighting magicians, is now solely dedicated to swimsuit modeling. I know it's a joke, but it's one of those. It's like, why would you do this?
It's not the most sexist thing in this chapter. I can tell you that.
Okay, let's keep going.
So then Kana wants to make Lucy drink, and Juvia trips for the second time for no apparent reason, and Gray shames Juvia for having a scar, because apparently it's different for guys, and then says her body belongs to him.
This was weird.
There.
Badly worded much? Yeah, it's the fact that I can get what they're going for. It's that they both now recognise that they're obviously close to it, but Gray can't put it into words, and is acting essentially like a teenager not knowing how to react to his new feeling for Juvia. But it's handled really badly.
Yeah,
like, if maybe her response to that had been like, "What do you mean I'm your?" Like that's like the appropriate response, like to have them bicker a bit and like.
Yeah.
But no, she's just like heart eyes at it. So
if he was made significantly less cool for being like, "You can't do that," that's the thing. With the irony being that's exactly what he does, and then then him trying to explain it without wanting to say that I don't want other men to see your body, and then having to explain about how that's in itself is weird. Like, if a lot more time was spent on this, I can see it working, but it would have to make Gray look like an idiot for thinking it.
I know,
but it doesn't work.
This is not the issue, Caster. It's the fact that she has a scar on her body, but she can't. But he can, because he's a guy.
Well, I don't think that's what Gray is saying it is. I don't think anyone cares. I think he doesn't want her taking off clothes.
Which is also a fucking double standard, because he does it all the time.
Oh yeah, which is also the joke, but it's moving into stuff that I don't think Hero understands or can deal with, and has not given enough time or panel space to talk about. And I think the only reason that line is there is for the re-emergence of the Wendy gag.
Well, if you say so. Elfman and Evergreen apparently need counselling.
I like this scene. Actually, before I started reading this, I was like, okay, I've not seen Laxus and Evergreen. Sorry, I'm talking about the next one. Sorry.
That
was funny. I forgot who the characters in Fairy Tale were. Sorry, guys.
This perfectly sums up Elfman's involvement in during the past few years. Real man, shut up.
Shut up.
So then there's the Laxus scene, and then Urza and Jalal both exist, and Fiore has a new monarch in Queen Hisui. She pardons Crime Sorcière, which somehow causes Urza to comb her hair every single day, despite never having done this before. Wait, what? So, up until now, we've seen Urza's uncombed hair. Do you even know what uncombed hair looks like?
It's the problem that Hero wants. For the entire series, it felt like Hero has wanted to portray Urza as this sort of half warrior woman, half tomboy, half non-feminine character, while giving her a body women models would kill for, and putting her in fan service costumes that have show it off to the greatest extent. He wants to. This is one of the reasons why Urza is one of the stupidest ideas for a character ever.
Actually, this is a bit of a side tangent, but I remember at kind of the start of the series, there was like a variety of body types. Like, Lucy was like the curvy one. Urza was kind of like pretty like pretty flattering, but not ridiculous. And then Levy was like, quite
Yeah.
skinny. And then like as time has gone on, Urza has just kind of ballooned up to Lucy's size, and Levy has just become like, what the size that Urza was at the start.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
I think that could be considered just a trend of the times, because that's happened to a lot
Yeah.
of series.
The same things happened with One
specifically.
Piece. Yeah, you're right.
But no, I think I'm trying to draw stuff from other ones, but a lot of the other series I know of the time had people growing up in that stage, which is like, yeah, okay, that's understandable. Puberty is a thing.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I quite on a moment about before we get into how Urza is terrible. The first time I read through the Laxus and Mira Jane scene, I for the first time was like, okay, people have been saying these are a couple that I haven't been able to see it. However, the two of them at the side of a party just sort of talking to each other, I could see as like the starter of a relationship. Yeah. And then the joke kicked in, and I thought it was hilarious. Because the line about "Are you the real one?" is my favourite. It's because there are obviously Laxus and Lysana shippers, and here are just summing up the entire relationship. If I don't think these two have ever talked before.
Oh God, Lysana, you poor good plot point that became a nothing character.
The quote that she was worth more to the series alive than dead, I think, is the best summation to her character.
The other way around, yeah.
Dead than alive, yes.
So
before that, she was character development for both Elfman and Natsu, and that was something I wanted to bring up earlier. Like, I remember Elfman's fight in the Phantom Lord arc when he was lamenting his own weakness, how he failed to protect one of his sisters, and that kept psychological blocks on his magic, so he couldn't do more than his arm anymore. And now he's a man joke about shouting man or being a true man,
which he shares with Ichiya, and yeah.
I've also just changed the next page after the Laxus joke and realised it. Yeah. Urza totally looks like she doesn't care about her appearance, right, guys?
So Mest, aka Dorenbold, seems to have become Ishimaru from iShield 21. And Makarov is a failure as a leader, as a mage, and as a character. Yeah, we've gone through this, but yeah.
Is he still the guild master?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't see the purpose of him being there at this point. I don't know. The fake outs have infuriated me so much that I can't muster the ability to care about this character.
I mean, they refer to him as the master, so I'm guessing he's still in charge of the guild.
Fair enough. Well, it with all the guilds like sort of breaking down, it does sort of imply that the world's now at peace, which I think which should be more of a difficult situation for them, because that means that none of them have jobs. But
well, Lucy has. Lucy's a writer now.
Lucy's for some reason an award-winning author after spending a year on a book. Okay, should we get on to what the most focus on this entire chapter is given to, and the biggest piece of horseshit?
Okay, so two people that are very similar, look very similar to Mavis and Zeref, but have no business being the reincarnations, because that would mean the 1-year-old appear during the party and seem to hit it off. Do we have more to say about this?
What happened? How?
4 pages are spent on this. 5 pages are spent on this. Also, because I kept this wrong, how old are these two meant to be in this scene? Because Mavis looks the same age as always, but Zeref looks a lot younger than he was in the other one. I don't get any 5 pages. And this entire scene is confusing to me in so many ways.
I think
we don't hear a lot about people in this final chapter, but 5 pages of this shit.
And it's
was
not
spent on
explained
these two.
what happened, like how they're there.
Because they can't be reincarnations. It's been a year.
I mean, they have. It's been a theory that maybe they're just possessing 2 people and making them into their image. Maybe that's the way of role playing.
I would actually be more happy with that answer, in that they've now been removed from time and just fuck about by possessing people's bodies.
And then they do like a spin-off manga where the children of Fairy Tail have to track them down and kill them. I don't know.
So yeah.
But we're not finished yet.
Yeah, Gajeel and
This
Levy.
isn't the worst part of this story.
Gajeel and Levy suddenly disappear during the party. Then Max and Warren are doing, I don't know what.
Okay. So I think I know what this is implying. So at first I read like the earlier conversation about like, oh, something about a baby of I'm pregnant, but I think the fact that they disappear here and says, hey, I want to have a baby, so then they disappear.
I would, but the thing is, I like one of the reasons I like that bit is because it's open-ended to interpretation.
Yeah, sure.
But the way the looks on their faces as Levy whispers that in her ear don't look like the faces of someone asking someone to have sex.
Yeah, true.
She's slightly crying, but she's happy.
Okay,
And
yeah.
Gajeel looks panicked, but happy and blushing.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
Unless that was like the first time it's not the first time they did it, because we saw
Yeah.
that scene where they were in bed together but in different panels, which again was another really good scene.
Yeah. This was an example of hero committing to relationships. So Max and Warren are doing I'm not sure what in that panel. Then Mako and Wakaba are about to commit sexual assault.
I don't get, that's the creepiest thing.
Look, a woman, come here.
And I like how no one else is doing anything about it, because that just speaks a lot about how heroes can approach to sexual harassment in this series.
Jesus. And Redis is painting Alzik and Biska. Then Cobra is revealed to be going out with Kinana, his snake in human form, and a member of Fairy Tail, which Larky is talking to. And Narb says he's going to work, because that's his thing, and that's always been his thing. And isn't that a fitting metaphor?
I'm very glad that we found out that he was going to go to work after this. I don't know what I'd have done if we didn't learn that crucial piece of information.
I'm just really glad we spent so many really important panels on these characters, and 5 pages on Zeref and Mavis. Spent 3 panels on hearing that everyone else in every other guild is now bullshit.
I don't really mind spending all those panels on the background characters, but because they Fairy Tail used to have an interesting background cast in the back during his first arcs when they were introduced in the cover pages, and these are kind of cool. I would like to see them interact, but I thought maybe that if they were maybe introduced like kind of the class A of My Hero, this I wouldn't mind. But yeah.
Right.
Wasted
we
potential.
still have 2 more scenes in this chapter, one of which I actually thought was quite a funny joke.
So Lucy wakes up and thinks it's all a dream. And it turns out Natsu carried her home, changed her clothes, blah blah. Now she can't be a bride anymore. Then we see a bunch of her memories. And she starts crying and hugs Natsu and Happy, saying without them she wouldn't be what she is today. Well, which I'm fine with. Then
It was a nice moment that they fucked up.
So then, Natsu grabs her by the arm, looks her straight in the eye, and asks if she'd like to be the bridesmaid in his and Happy's wedding. Boat!
I like this scene. Oh, it was an okay fake out because it was built up very well. So it's like, okay, I can see what's happening. Oh yeah, Natsu's Natsu.
Yeah, no, he just grabs her and goes quest hunting along with everyone else, and they'll always be together. And apparently, Team Natsu are heading off for the 100-year quest. That was
the one that only guild arts could do beforehand.
Oh.
Which I'm really annoyed about because even at the end of the series, the whole group is not back together. What the fuck happened to Aquarius?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I was sure the final mission was going to be everything sorted now. Okay, let's all band together. We're going to go find Aquarius's key for Lucy.
Yeah.
That would have been a really nice ending to this series.
I would love if a reader just asked Lucy during the party, "Hey, what's happened with this character?"
Aquarius who?
Also, and this is like a really weird little nitpick, but everyone in that last panel is in their or in this last scene is in their default outfits from after the 7-year time jump, except Lucy who's from her outfit at the start of the series. It's a bit weird, but I guess it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I just pay too much attention to characters' outfits.
I got the impression it was a callback to the first adventures they'd go on. So it was like, oh, we're back to the start of the series.
I think if they were all in their starting outfits, that would work.
I couldn't actually tell Natsu wasn't, which might be the problem.
He has the one sleeve, and that's the difference.
Oh yeah,
and also his original outfit, it wasn't like a tunic. It was like he had a kind of a shirt that was it was open, you could see his pecs and abs and stuff, and then the skirt bit.
And also, Wendy's wearing a schoolgirl's outfit or something.
Yes, as opposed to her just the dress thing that she wore.
So I now I can't think of anything else but Lucy being at a convention and answering for every single plot hole that Hero's written. For example, a reader asks, so when Urza reverted back to her 10-year-old form, why was her first thought to look at her vagina? Why? Just why?
On a related topic, not related to that, but I have a game I'd like to play with you. If you'd like, if any of you would like to.
All right, you can add me on PSN. My name's Hoven.
No, I call this game. Do you remember when? Because I went over this last week. I've been trying to figure out what I felt about this final arc of Fairy Tail, because it was honestly the only one I'd read from start to finish. And I came across a load of stuff which I didn't remember and made me furious because there was either a reason it got dropped from the series, or the fact that it was never brought up again is so stupid. So I have 10 points here. So let's start off with the beginning of this series, of this arc. Do you remember when the Spriggan 12 were meant to be intimidating?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I remember
even
being genuinely cautiously optimistic for it as well.
I wasn't. I immediately called. None of you are going to matter for shit, will you? Maybe one.
So many of them got beaten. Okay, some of them had good fights to start with, but then they all even the ones who got defeated got brought back and then got beaten off screen by people like Elfman and random people.
No, I remember the point where I was kind of genuinely like, hey, this could be cool, was when they mentioned that, we're going up against a whole empire, whoa, and it's even bigger than our country, that's cool.
Yeah.
And every member of this council is as strong or stronger than the most powerful mage in our country, because God Sona lived up to that.
were the strongest wizard in this country, and even after power up, not to just one shot at that guy that made memories. Just looking at it in hindsight, it makes me laugh.
Okay, question 2. Do you remember when Makarov was saved in one page?
Oh my god, mess!
Oh yeah, I've seen that
Bam.
like.
I could never forget that because of
that
yeah,
so many
Chris's
times.
reaction when he just hits the table.
No!
Wait, hold on a moment.
He just midway through, he just casually going. So then Mez comes in. What? Hold on.
Oh yeah, this is. I remember that back then WMR was doing a live read, and Chris had a reaction, just suddenly reading in a chill manner, and wait, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, because after this build-up to the idea that it's going to be impossible to get Makarov back, it's like, oh, we've got him now. But speaking of Makarov and the Spriggan 12, and that arc and leading up to that rescue, do you remember when Brandish was a thing?
Yeah.
Because she was never mentioned again. All the build-up with her being Lucy's friend.
Yeah,
never
she
brought
was
up.
constantly brought to the forefront, like at certain points throughout the arc. Like it was a really slow burner, and then she just disappears at the end.
Completely dropped. Checking through these chapters, there's one panel where she's shown essentially adding to the spirit bomb. But no mention on what she's doing, where her allegiances lie. The main thing I remember about Brandish, which one part of this list was whatever happened to Aquarius, was that I remember that she loved Aquarius, but Aquarius treated her like essentially in pet play, but last knew her when she was 4.
Maybe that's why the last mission is not to go after Aquarius.
Maybe she can stay there.
Yeah, and also that brings up a good point. What happened to the entire Alvarez empire? Like, I'd like to think that not all of them were people trying to sword punch a kid for crying.
Oh yeah, no.
So, like, are they just kind of fucked since the king is dead and there seems to be no
They've
life
all
expectancy?
collapsed into horrific civil
oh my
war.
god, I'd completely forgotten about like how the whole Brandish Lucy fight was resolved by Aquarius popping up, transforming them into celestial spirits, skimpy mermaid outfits, and taking them through like the annals of time to show them stuff.
Also,
I think that was the one fight that I actually got angry at the series. Like,
it was
Anyway, the Alvarez
utter
empire,
shit.
like, are they just gonna like collapse since there's no leader, since all like the Winter General, the 2 strongest members of the Spriggan 12, everyone who was probably competent leader is just gone.
Well,
I'm sure
maybe
the entire
Brandish has gone
country-
back there. I don't know.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I'm sure the
she's gonna be a
entire
great
country
leader with her
weird, skimpy magic powers. I'm
Yeah.
sure the entire country has fallen into a horrific civil war which will last for generations.
But
guys,
actually, yeah, she'll
did
be
you
great.
hear? Lucy
She
won
will
awards for her book.
war, and then it'll be all gone.
Okay.
I remember
Yeah.
I remember Brandish actually being having an interesting personality at the beginning, because she wasn't the same scheming villain eventually turned chaotic crazy thing like everyone does. It even happened to Acnologia. So
Yeah, she didn't care about Fairy Tale because they were too weak to be of her notice. It was interesting.
yeah.
Okay, question 4. Do you remember when 4 pages were spent dedicated to seeing a pregnant woman being tortured, showing specifically all the sexual aspects of it, while showing her descent into madness to hate the child that she would eventually give birth to, only for it to be revealed later that no, she loved the kid all along. Because that was Urza's mum's flashback.
Well,
Yeah.
you
And
say
showed her
pregnant, but
father
there
just-
were no signs of a pregnancy. So yeah.
Yeah, and father just
No,
had to
but
be
she was-
irredeemably evil douchebag that showed no motivation except I want to show what a dick I am, so you'll feel sorry for the other party.
And
Yeah,
the,
but
and the
then she
fact
turned
that
out to be a
he
good
looked
guy
like
at the end.
Aizawa.
Okay. Question 5. Do you remember when Natsu and Grey were going to fight in a battle to the death?
Yeah, and then Urza just
That weak sauce battle where they fought because
Ursa just hugged them to. They were going to fight. Okay, let's just remember that you. Yeah.
Caster? Hello? Hello? Caster?
No, he's gone.
Well, we haven't actually finished the recap for the final pages. So,
I mean, it's like they go off on a quest. We get a French speech about how the fairies have tails. This is a great guild. I hope you find friends like this someday too. The end, and also Zera's back as a little fairy.
That was weird,
yeah.
Yes.
545 chapters, and we never even got an answer to the question whether fairies have tails. The eternal question that no one in their right mind would ask because they
hold
wouldn't
on.
and shouldn't care. The eternal
Wait, no,
riddle
look-
that there is no answer to.
Wensleydale.
And
Wensleydale. Look at Zera on that last page. Does she have a tail?
Let me see. Yeah, but Zera is a figment of Mavis's imagination. So.
But that doesn't mean she's not real, guys. That was another bullshit part of this story.
Yeah.
Well, you can't see if she has a tail. She could have a little bunny tail or something.
Also, the fact that that spin-off manga just randomly got weaved back into series, into
That
the
was
key
so
continuity,
weird.
and it makes a little more sense if you're watching through the anime because they actually adapt that arc into it like a flashback arc of the TV anime. So if you were an anime only watcher, that would be fine. But if you're just reading the manga, you're like, I didn't bother with this spin-off nonsense. What is this?
And didn't Sting get to fight Lakade because of the Sabretooth spin-off manga?
I don't know. All I know is that I think they shipped off. They started shipping some of the characters in Sabretooth with each other or something.
Yeah, Rogan,
Sometime.
Minerva apparently,
That sounds about right.
and Sting and Yukino. Yeah, the
The only one I actually read was Zero.
I skimmed it because I heard horror stories.
I've read Fairy Tail Zero, so I was completely in the know about what was happening. So
Yeah.
yeah, the eternal riddle there is no answer to, and thus is a giant waste of your time, just like this bloody manga.
All right. Shall we all give our closing thoughts? Just Fairy Tail as a whole.
Yeah, or do we want to finish the do you remember game?
I've got 3 more that were my killers at the end.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, go on.
All right. Go on.
Do you remember when Natsu was the demon of the Book of End?
Oh
Yeah.
God, that went nowhere.
Literally.
Yeah.
I remember, he went into full demon mode. I'm like, oh God, I'm so hyped for this. We finally have a wild card. This could really shake things up. And then, he doesn't actually seem to be that out of control, and it just goes away and never comes
it
back.
lasted for the one really non-fight with Grey, and then never again.
Yeah.
And then he had. Do you remember when he had super cancer?
It's especially weird to me that it didn't. It's especially weird to me that it didn't as well, because that was a thing that Zareth built up, so you'd have thought it would be used in the fight against Zareth.
Yeah. The other one I've got down here is... Well, 2 of them we've already got, which was Aquarius's key. And do you remember when Akhenaja could eat all magic?
Yeah.
But my final one is just to a T. do you remember when Urza? Because I had an entirely different list, which was, do you remember when Urza did this bullshit thing that made no sense? But
kind of like Chris's list.
yeah, the argument that just because she is a female character doesn't that is prominent does not mean she is well written. But no, the worst one of these. Do you remember when Natsu being the Book of End, with that going literally nowhere, when the most he did was get super cancer from it, and then him getting the spirit journey. Like, you must choose one or the other. I choose friendship. Well, okay then. I guess you're cured.
And then everyone telling Lucy to take off her clothes because
I'd forgotten that.
Oh my god!
Take off the things that are meant to keep you warm, Lucy, and
Oh
warm
god.
Natsu's body.
I'd forgotten about that in between weeks, so I just got to that next chapter. I'm like,
Yeah.
what you doing?
I was so furious that she actually did it, that she actually listened to Polyushka's advice. Why didn't Polyushka do it?
I mean, like, I think that was one thing where you messaged me like, why would she even do it? And I'm like, you know what? Natsu is a good-looking, ripped guy. I'm sure it's not an unbearable experience for her. But...
Yeah.
You would say that.
It's just a serious situation. It's for medical reasons, and what?
She looked, when she was stripping down, the look on her face made it look like that it was the last thing on earth she wanted to do, but she was being forced into it because Hero has a submission kink.
how much do you want to bet there was no need for strip? They just wanted to use some recording magic to make some weird fetish videos to sell on, I don't know, shopping catalog.
Woman and cat molest sleeping boy. Ew, just no. Actually, one of the things on my list was going to be, do you remember when Lucy did something, but I couldn't actually think of anything.
Well, she defeated
sorted out the way to defeat Acnologue. Yeah, sure. Like that's the one thing.
Actually, yeah, no, I'll give you. I'd forgotten that was actually her plan.
And she
No, that was the one thing I remembered that was good.
And she defeated the assassin guy, who couldn't possibly.
Oh no! Natsu beat him.
Oh, okay.
He punched him.
Not really. I mean, at least that was one good moment I'll give Lucy and Fairy Tail, like using pre-established powers and abilities in a way that we hadn't thought they would interact before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't a bad fight because you brought out the guy. Yeah, using Pisces and that guy who could cancel magic.
Gemini.
Was it? Yeah, I can vaguely remember. So, final thoughts?
Okay. So I think we can all agree that Fairy Tail is a pretty darn stupid, ineptly put together story.
Yes.
Which doesn't establish anything.
Yeah.
However, I think I've heard it compared a lot, like whether this or Black Clover is a worse series. And
Yeah, that's an
personally,
interesting one.
I enjoy Fairy Tail more. And the reason for that is that, as stupid as his power of friendship thing is, I think Hiro Mashima genuinely believes his own bullshit. I think he very earnestly believes in his friendship stuff, even if it's completely overblown. Whereas, by comparison, Black Clover always struck me as just kind of like throwing everything from every other shonen manga at the wall and just seeing what sticks. And
Yeah,
even though
let's
there
say-
isn't like there are things that Black Clover does better that I think Wensleydale has pointed out before, but like just that element of it made it very hard for me to stick with. Whereas Fairy Tail, that earnestness did kind of get me through a lot of the rougher patches, even if it was misguided.
I'd compare them like this, that I'd say Black Clover is Transformers. It's community designed to appeal to the target demographic with no soul, just taking what's popular elsewhere and stamping it out to make money. Whereas Fairy Tail is like The Room.
Or
The guy
Sucker-
honestly
or maybe
thought
Sucker
he was
Punch.
doing something good. But we all get to laugh because we know that this came from earnest attempt and was still so god-awfully horrible. Like, The Room is worse, but it came from a place of passion.
Yeah, the worst thing a piece of entertainment can do is be boring. And I've never found Fairy Tail boring, but I definitely
Never,
find
no,
Black
me
Clover.
neither.
Well, I'm not sure whether okay, this is something I just heard. I can't possibly confirm that, but from what Annalise said about Tabata, he seems to have a very Ed Woodish like personality. So even though I can't really find I can't really find Aster's determination and his whole character genuine. I give him the benefit of the doubt that he really believes it. And to a certain extent, I do the same with Fairy Tail. But it all remains the same. All payoff and no build up doesn't work. All build up and no payoff doesn't work either. In Fairy Tail, there were infuriating examples of both. Take Ivan Dreyer, for example. Remember when Raventail was going to be important?
Remember when
Oh, yeah.
Raventail was a thing?
I remember they were a thing, but I never remember them being important.
They were
And then Laxus
built.
just kind of ended that plot point.
They were built up even before the first time skip. So yeah.
That was like the really cool thing about the start of the tournament arc was the fact that you had them, you had Sabretooth, you had all these kind of more friendly girls, and then you had kind of this thing going on behind the scenes, and it was all very ambiguous as to what was going to be the final rival. There wasn't really one good bad guy team and Fairy Tail. Like it
And
was, and then it was like going all directions, and then of course that was dropped.
Yeah.
And then there wasn't a final fight because either Sing or Rogue just saw all the weak in Fairy Tail and said, "Nope, you've got plot magic bullshit on your side."
The Grand Magic Games arc was very promising because
I would consider it the most disappointing arc in the series because it had so much promise and then failed on it so heavily.
yeah. Even so, I initially liked it because this was the first time that Hero wasn't doing what I call the structure for the starting shonen arc. Otherwise, he writes every arc as it was his starting arc. Bad guys show up. Bad guys get defeated. The only and it's all very quick and very simple. The only two real exceptions to that rule were the Grand Magic Games, and the last arc, of course. What would be your high points and low points of Fairy Tail?
Okay, that's
High point would probably be the Phantom Lord arc. That's an arc I still remember. I still sometimes go back and read the cool parts of it, and I still like. And least favorite, I'm struggling between either the Avatar arc for just being kind of horrible in so many ways, or the Grand Magic Game for having more potential and just never doing anything with it.
I think I'll just go on like gut instinct of like what I responded to the strongest both ways, and I think positively it's the Natsu versus Gildarts fight because it actually seemed like they were teaching him a lesson, and it was kind of a touching moment, which was then, you know, obviously later on just kind of abandoned. But in that moment, it was a really nice scene.
Yeah.
And it had its fair share of comedy as well. Before it got serious, that was, I don't know, it worked for me. But then there's the, I think the low point would probably be the chapter where I realized exactly where the Lucy Brandish fight was going. Where she was like, it's established she has this grudge that dates back to this, and then suddenly Aquarius comes out, and you're like, okay, yeah, I see exactly where this is going. We're not actually going to resolve this in a cool way. Aquarius is just going to explain all of this. Like, when that dawned on me, I just got so angry. Like, that's the only time I've actually got... Because mostly I just kind of shrug off, like, okay, this is just a dumb series, whatever. But that actually got me a little annoyed.
I think... I also don't think I could, like, lay out what was the highest point and lowest point, like, logically. But on essentially how I felt at the time... I'll go the other way around, because to leave on a high note. My low point was probably the point that made me start watching, looking back, made me start watching the anime, which was sort of the conclusion and fallout to the Tower of Heaven arc, where I realised that Urza wasn't an interesting character. Her backstory felt like it was written by an edgy 13-year-old. Gerard got built up and then got beaten by a fire punch. And then everyone was still alive, and everyone just moved on as if nothing had happened. It was my realization that this is not good. But my highlight, I think, is pretty much... There are 2 points in this final arc which I thought were well written. One of them was the twist that August was...
Why did the Emperor never love his child?
Because it was a good twist that actually got me, because we'd been bitching for ages about Lacade for ages. Oh, hang on, this makes sense now. But my highlight was Gajil's fight against the Death Guy and apparent death. Because in a vacuum, that was really well written. And I'm not
It was quite an emotional scene.
It was his fight where it was a good fight. It was a powerful fight. The thing where his opponent literally had, I've got all the powers from the last group you fought, was a bit of a bit of a thing to pull. But it was a cool fight that he resigned himself to death to win, then got pulled through a death portal while telling the woman he loved exactly how he felt about her, and then got dragged into apparent hell. It felt like the best thing I'd read in fairy tale ever. And I still hold that as a good moment, despite the bullshit that got pulled later.
So my...
Kind of in a similar vein, yeah.
My highest point and my lowest point of fairy tale both come from the same arc, from the Edlos arc. Just as a slight tangent, I've found it interesting. I found the way that arc handled magic as a shortening limited resource kind of interesting, and that's why I thought it had potential. My highest point of the arc was Gajil's plotline especially the build-up chapter where he tried to chase after random cats because he saw that wait a minute, Natsu is a dragon slayer. Natsu has a cat. Wendy is a dragon slayer. Wendy has a cat. Why don't I have a cat? Why?
Why did the dragon slayer never love it? No, I'm not doing this.
Now, this was an amazingly funny moment, and I even when counting the so bad it's good moments, this was the funniest. This was the funniest joke in fairy tale, by far. Whereas my least favorite, my low point was probably Lisana's resurrection. Because this kind of made the point of, okay, you don't have any idea for this. You won't do anything with that character, and you never have done anything with that character, and you've kind of squandered the tragic potential of Natsu's personality and of Elfman's personality, and now you've kind of ruined 3 characters for me. So thank you, hero. Thank you. So, would you in the end recommend Fairy Tail?
It really depends on what. It would depend on the person, what kind of thing they were looking for. If they wanted something that was like trashy and fan servicey, and they were the kind of person that doesn't think too hard about quality of writing, then yes. If not, probably not. Like I would not recommend Fairy Tail to any of my friends.
Anyone you know.
But no. I think I would recommend it if you wanted kind of an enjoyable train wreck. But then again, I feel like part of the fun of that is reading it week on week.
Yeah.
Which you can't do anymore. Like, I kind of wish I could have had some friends I knew IRL who could have like read along with me. There were a couple, but like, I feel like just sharing that experience of, oh my god, I can't believe what he pulled this week.
Well, I, on the other hand, would say, early on, I can't recommend it. Like, I'd say you can start reading it, but I'd also say, like, if you're thinking this is dumb or I'm not really sure if this is good anymore, just don't bother forcing it forward. It does not get better again. Like, you'll see when you cross the line, like, you think, this is bad now. Don't think maybe it'll get better later. It won't.
Yeah.
Enjoy for what you can get out of it, then drop it and forget it.
I don't think I could give Fairy Tail a recommendation to anyone, really. Because it never quite got me into the series. I was always waiting for it to get me into the series, and it dropped off before then. Like, I enjoyed reading it week to week for the same reason as enjoyable Trainwreck, and also I think I've learned a lot from it, if only as a what not to do guide for writing a story. But with over 500 chapters, even as an enjoyable Trainwreck, I don't think I could recommend it to anybody.
Actually, to kind of slightly elaborate a little, if we were talking like maybe 5-7 years ago, I would maybe recommend this series to some people, perhaps if they wanted to get into a battle shonen series but found the pace but were only really into anime, not so much manga, found the start-ups for series like One Piece and Dragon Ball and Naruto too slow, and just wanted something that moved at a quicker pace.
I could see that.
Filler. But thing is, in the years since then, we've had stuff like, My Hero Academia and Food Wars, and Food Wars isn't as similar a series. It's not really battle shonen, but we have had cases of series that are more concise and hit the ground running that are way better than Fairy Tail. So yeah. That is the thing. One second. Sorry.
No problem.
This again.
I can see that. It's just that for what it is, I don't think there's any aspect of Fairy Tail I could recommend. Because if you're looking for something like it, read One Piece. If you're looking for an anime that's quicker, watch My Hero. If you're looking for porn, just find porn.
Or if you're underage, can't find anything with safe search, just read Food Wars.
Yeah, there are better booby manga out there. They were on every shelf when I was out there in Japan. They're not hard to come by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say read it maybe only as a history lesson. As you said, maybe a lesson on what not to do in writing, or maybe as what Hiro Mashima's influence on the world of manga was. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend this series because it's only good in moments, and if you're someone who can enjoy moments without good moments without everything around this just ruining it for you, then fine. But otherwise, this is not the series for you.
Yeah, and it has had its effect. We were talking about Black Clover earlier, and the Black Bulls are literally fairy tales. The influence is drawn, so it has had an effect on on the zeitgeist.
Yeah. Also, this is very separate, but I've been seeing kind of sentiments among certain people online in videos of like, fairy tale's dead. Let's dance on its grave. Which
No.
Okay, it's a bit okay. For a series, okay, the series had an 11-year run, sold very well throughout it, even if it dipped off a little towards the end. Has a third season of the anime in the works that will cover the rest of the material. Mashima managed to end it on its own terms.
Yeah.
It's not really. It's a pretty like admirable term to end on, if nothing else. Like,
Oh, no,
It's a
it's
Viking death,
success.
not a grave.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not a ding dong the witch is dead moment.
Yeah.
I can partly see it with people like as I got annoyed at Fairy Tail a couple of times for how popular it was because I knew there were better series out there that were suffering for not getting enough readership and were better than it.
Yeah.
But Hero told in a cutthroat industry like the manga world, Hero told a long story that sold really well and ended it on his own terms. As a mangaka, he has succeeded very, very well. On a related note, is that if Hero does bring out another series, would you all read it?
I'd at least start it.
You know, I think I would. I would like to see how this author grows, and maybe if the rumors that editorial meddling made or the fans made the series worse than it actually would be without it. I would like to see Mashima get better because I've only read the few starting chapters of Rave Master, and I like them, but so I'd like to see something that would be a passion project for Hero, and not something that he would have to write week to week.
I mean, generally, sorry, you go.
Yeah, I think I would, because I feel I would get into one of two extremes. Either he improves and I get a series I enjoy, or he stays on this level and I get a series I can laugh at. I don't think it's gonna end in that zone of this is just nothing of value.
I want him to co-write Cross Account.
Oh yes, John.
Thing is, it would get better. Hero's bad, but he's not that bad.
Yeah, I think generally my attitude towards when an artist for a manga I know comes out with a new series is I always check out the first few chapters at least.
Yeah, no,
just
I'm with that.
just on that goodwill. Like that's what I did with Platinum End. You know, I enjoyed Death Note and to an extent Bakuman from what I've read, but yeah, when Platinum End just really rubbed me the wrong way, I dropped it like a I can't think of a metaphor here.
I had heard it was weird. But yeah,
I remember responding very strongly negatively towards it as of chapter 4, which is like the first volume's worth. So
I'm morbidly curious now. Okay, Platinum End and Guilty Crown podcast. We'll set this up.
Yeah.
I read Platinum for a while and then just forgot about it because it wasn't very good.
I keep doing that with Blue Exorcist.
But that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think my family want me to come down and rejoin the human world now.
yeah, so let's
But you're one of us now.
Let's-
One of us. One of us.
Okay, let's finish things up. So, that is gonna do it for this special Fairy Tale edition of Stammer Stream. Thank you all for watching, either on my YouTube channel or live at twitch.tv/Wensleydale Cheddar. We usually try to record on Tuesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time, 5 PM GMT and 6 PM GMT +1. You can follow me on Twitter at Winsley Cheddar for updates on the stream on Panganta, Friendly Faces Everywhere, Iffy Reviews, and many other projects. Follow Milo at Hoven with an H for anime waifus, Cabal hijinks, and Cabal cast, which is definitely coming, guys. Follow our...
We keep forgetting about that last one.
Follow our special guests Grail9 at Nuclear Android for gaming tweets and stuff, and follow Caster at Caster UK for absolutely nada. Be sure to visit our One Piece RP forum, One Dream Adventure Reborn, to write some lovely stories with us and talk about manga in general. odar.comforums.com is the address. The Dungeon Crawl event has just finished, so be sure to, if you took part, be sure to let us know what you thought about it in the feedback thread. The celebration threads should be posted up soon, right, Grail?
Yeah, they should have been posted on the weekend, but then I got sick.
Yeah.
And they should have probably been posted yesterday, but then I was stuck with a flat tire walking for several kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of understandable.
Yeah.
And by kind of, I mean completely.
So be sure to look forward to that. I mean, not the flat tire, the celebration threads. Right. And
Enjoy the celebrations thread, or Grail will come and slash your tires.
Okay, so anything else you guys want to mention?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right then. Farewell, Fairy Tale, you bloody awful manga. And to our lovely readers, cheers for watching, and we will see you next week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Hello?
No, we're all
Hello.
dead. We're always dead. We're Wensleydale.
I'm not sure whether it's actually finished, so keep saying bye until it does.
Bye.